Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. The Illyrious Empire spans a continent. Thousands of miles of dry plains, highlands, and dust-swept roads, all under the eye of a single ruler. Its power comes not from gold or armies alone, but from the land itself. The Havana River runs like a lifeline through the heart of the empire, feeding crops, shaping cities, and sustaining millions. Without it, there is no empire, only dust and memory. At its center stands Nahibian, the imperial capital, a city of marble, trade, and ambition. Its streets are alive with voices from every corner of the realm, and its silence hides more than it reveals. This is a story of politics, power, and people caught in between. Welcome to Revelations of Khayee, an Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition campaign. Let's do this first, right? We're going to have everyone roll initiative. I have a 4. What do you have, Yangi?
I have an 8.
An 8? Dumb and slow. Cedric, Cedric, what do you have?
Cedric has a 4.
4. Ooh, okay. Amal, what do you have?
5.
5. Jeez. And then Bazi, what do you have?
6.
Oh my god, dude. You guys are really gonna make me kill you after like this such a short thing? Okay, so before we continue on, it goes by dexterity, and I see that Cedric's dexterity is 10.
It's a 10.
I am going to say that these creatures have the same dexterity as you, so I am going to let you go first, but let me set the scene, okay? So the candle is lit. You all adjust your eyes to this light, including you, Amal, seeing that, you were kind of saying you're going to look in the back and kind of get an idea of like trying to maybe potentially set a snare. And the light illuminates around you all this circular cavern. You don't really have time to sit there and measure the space, but it's roughly about 25 to 30 feet in diameter. Straight ahead of you, there seems to be another like entrance into another segment of the cave, and that's where that light was kind of coming from distantly. And Yang, you're looking down at this face, and like literally, there's a curious moment where you're confused. You look and you're like, "This is the most disturbing looking child I've seen." And then you realize that around its eyes, you see this sickly yellow greenish, and around its lips. And you notice that the skin, this mask it's wearing, it's almost like it's dried a little bit, and there's a stringy hair that's following down the sides. And you see this hand come up with this knife to attack you. But the hand almost seems to have like these gloves where there's patches that are missing from it, and you see this sickly color coming through this dried, rotting flesh that is over it. You see the same thing, Bazi. I mean, you all see these figures, but Bazi, you see another one coming towards your right, and it's almost like it got caught. You see it crouched down, and it has like one hand on the ground and the other has this knife, and you see like this mouth is just opening and closing and opening and closing. These jagged sharp teeth are there, and this one has a similar mask, but you notice that it seems to also have like a robe or a cloak that is made from, and it strikes you for a second. You're like, oh my god, that skin. And you see that's been patched together, and it comes to attack you. So I'm going to have you go though first, Cedric, since I will say that you have the higher dexterity of what you guys are seeing right now. So what do you choose to do?
Since Cedric is out of spell slots, he is going to react in what he's going to do is he's going to ready one of his ink wells or ink pots. And what he wants to do is hold his action. And the trigger for his action is he's waiting for the melee to get complete with Yang Yi. Just that first initial clash, and then once that happens, he's going to throw ink in the face of the first attacker.
Okay? You see Yang Yi, as you're looking down, you see this knife come out to attack you. What is your armor class?
6.
6. So you see for a second, this knife comes up right by, almost by your rib cage, and you dodge out of the way for a second. As you are looking down out of reaction, you see like the mouth opens up and you see the eyes, and the eyes have this, when I say red eyes that it has, I don't mean glowing red eyes. I mean eyes of crimson. Eyes of like blood is where the pupils and the whites should be. Bazi, we are going to go and roll for you. Ooh, 16. So Bazi, you're looking down, and this figure that as you catch it, has its hand on the ground, like it was waiting to pounce at you, you're trying to study it, and you see it jumps up, and it comes out with this knife, but it's almost not jumping up, it's jumping perpendicular to the ground. It's shooting in on you. Let me go ahead and roll damage for this. 2. So you take 2 damage, which I believe brings down to 3. So this creature leaps towards you. Like you're for a second, you see it like it freezes when the candle's lit. And there's this uncomfortable moment. You hear this shriek. It's like this inhumane, loud, high-pitched, piercing scream that comes from it. And it comes forward and it takes that knife and you could tell it's trying to like hamstring you behind your Achilles tendon, but it misses and it slices across the back of your calf, the exposed part. And you feel this sting for a second, you almost, sometimes what happens when you get like a splinter, and then you feel the wetness start going down, and you feel this pain that's shearing because you feel that some of the sinew of your calf has been cut through, and it's an incredible amount of pain. And you all hear in this moment like an inadvertent yell come from Bazi of pain. Next, we will have we'll have Amal. Amal, you have witnessed what I have shared with the group. What are you choosing to do at this moment?
Amal will he had his bow out but not necessarily ready, so he would tuck into the shadows and draw it. If he has time to, he would definitely take a shot at the one that injured Bazi.
Yeah, I'll say that you can do that. Go ahead and please roll. So you got it. You got a hit there. You got a hit there, Amal. So go ahead and roll damage.
Alrighty. 3.
3. So this thing, whatever it is, leapt forward and slashed across, like it almost held the knife, not the normal way a knife would held, but holds it where the blade would be facing down, and like slashed across the back of Bazi's calf. And there's a moment where it stops there, and you can see it's going to turn around. It's going to try to like stab Bazi, like maybe in the kidneys or in the liver or in the side or in the in the vitals that are now exposed behind Bazi. And there's a moment, you go in the shadows and you pull your short bow and you just cock one, and it hits this thing in the chest, right? And you see it like almost spins it in the opposite way. It's trying to go towards its right to stab Bazi, and you hit it in his chest and it spins left. So the knife kind of comes up in the air and you see that falls onto its back, but you see it's like starting to get up.
Amal would take that moment to say run as he's kind of like tucking behind the shadows.
Bazi, what are you doing? It is your turn. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Bazi, it is your turn. What are you doing?
Bazi's going to turn to flee.
Are you going to turn to flee?
Yes.
Okay.
Get into a more advantageous position.
So I would say you're about 7 feet from the cave entrance. Are you going to run outside?
Yeah, he's going to run outside.
You start running towards there, and you feel that pain in the back of your calf, right? Like you have a limp, and you could feel the blood just running down your ankles into your sandals, right? And you could feel it sloshing against your heel as you make your way towards the light. That leaves Yang Yi. What are you doing? You see all this happen, as I explained.
What's the closest creature to Yangi? Is it still the one in front of
The one that missed, right? That missed your side of your ribs, yeah.
Yeah, time to bring the pain.
Oh shit, go ahead and roll it.
He misses, probably.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
miss. Yeah. You swing your sword down and you see the creature like steps out of the way, like kind of does like shrugs its shoulder and it misses. And you are getting the feeling that this creature is extremely fast compared to anything else that you have encountered.
Yangi has 3 attacks per 2 rounds. Do you know how that's calculated?
So you can
Or
split it
not?
between 2 and 1, depending. So if you want to do 2 this round, you can do 2 this round, or you can do 1 this round and 2 next round. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's always better to take the attacks now, I think.
Okay,
So.
go ahead and roll it again then.
Plus 1 for the proficiency as well. And this one,
Oh, dang!
this one hits.
Go ahead and roll damage for me, please.
19 would hit an AC of 1. 8
8
damage.
damage. So you go to swing at it the first time, and it dodges. And you're seeing this, Cedric, by the way, right? Because Bazi's focused on running out. Amal's focused on the one he shot, that tech Bazi. You're sitting there waiting to help out Yang Yi, and you see he misses with the first one. Like it's going from upper right to lower left. And you're about to I'm gonna throw this ink at this guy, at this thing, this creature, but then you see Yang Yi turns around and he just has this grimace on his face, and he comes up from the lower left to the upper right, and you just see it go straight through the neck of this thing. And there's a moment where you see it kind of shifts a little bit, and then you see it slumps forward, but it's still attached by some sinew of neck muscle and skin, but you see blood just starts red. Blood just starts pouring out on it, and it falls down. The blood is just coming across this weird robe of skins, and when the head tilts, you see the mask starts slightly kind of falls off a little bit, and you see this monstrosity looks to be diseased skin almost. The nose is somewhat missing. It looks, you can see the 2 nostril holes of a bone, and you see its mouth is kind of nervous. The muscle twitching in the mouth is still moving, and its jaws going from left to right, and the little teeth, and then it stops, and blood just keeps coming out of the neck area. You can still throw ink on it if you would like. It's your call. Yeah, I would say you still got 1 act. You see this, and you kind of catch out of your right. You see the one. You see one took an arrow in the chest. You see it's trying to sit up, and you see, like I said, Bazi running out. You see Amal and this kind of step back along the wall and shot that.
Seeing what I've seen, what he's going to do is, instead of throwing the ink pot at the one that Yang Yi just decimated, he's going to quickly turn and throw it at the one that's trying to move, just to because he's seeing it, because he's watching Bosny turn away from it.
Yeah, go ahead and try to throw it. Roll 1d20 for me, please.
And that would hit an armor class of 6.
All right, go ahead and roll me 1d2 of damage for me.
So that would be 1 point of damage.
So you turn around, and out of fear, you just huck this. And Amal, you actually see this, because Yangi's kind of staring down at what he just did. You're I assume we're about to cock another arrow, and you see Cedric turn around and just hucks this thing. And as the creature tries to sit up, you see it hits it right between the eyes. And you hear this crunch, and it falls back, and it stops moving. Combat's done. Scene's on you guys.
Cedric will turn to Amal, and the pen is truly mightier than the sword.
Jesus
and
Christ.
then begin to walk.
Ozzy's outside the cage. Son of a bitch, that stings.
And then try to eat. Yeah, it's time to go.
So let's, real quick, before I come back to you all, Bazi went out. Cedric started making his way out. Amal, you're standing against the wall there, right? And there's a moment, Yangi, where you're looking at your... Because, let me ask you this, Yangi. And I think I know the answer to this, right? But this is the first time you've used your sword to this capacity, right? Of I don't want to say taking a life, because who knows what this is, right? But to in real combat, would that be, would I be wrong in that?
Yeah, I think that'd be correct. I think he's been training a lot, he's been preparing. Maybe he's been in some real street fights, but never anything that got too out of hand. So nothing to this extent.
And there's a moment where you're looking down and time seems to have slowed for you. You see the blood just like it's almost like coming out of his neck and like a tide. I mean, you haven't seen a tide before, but at its own rhythm. And you slowly, you feel like your will is trying to pull you back into your body. And you slowly look up and you catch eye contact with Amal. And in the moment where you're looking at each other, you hear faintly, both of you, like screams coming from the distance. And it doesn't sound like this demonic or this inhumane spewing that came from these two figures. It sounds like the pain of people. And you hear, it almost sounds feminine and masculine kind of mixed together. But I then would like to, before we go to the scene, I'm going to do what I always fucking do because I feel like it adds to the story, right? What is going on in your mind right now, Yangi, with all that has been said and done in this moment when you're looking at them all? What's going on in your mind?
Well, Yangi's got that adrenaline rush, right? You know, it's just like a fight. It's just a couple seconds and then it was over, essentially. But he's kind of pumped. Honestly, I would say he kind of enjoyed it. He kind of enjoys the rush, you know, afterwards. Obviously, he was scared as shit at first, but also just like, you know, the taste of victory. It's something that's relatively new to him. And he's glad he doesn't have to think. He just has to slash and dash.
Did he enjoy more the taking of the life or more of the dopamine adrenaline that like coursed through his body, do you think?
I think it's definitely the victory. Like, you know, hunted, killed animals before.
Yeah.
But the actual combat, yeah, that's what he really enjoyed.
And the surviving, right?
Yeah. You know, I'm alive, you're dead. You know.
Yeah. And then Amal, what is going all through your head at this moment?
Amol is at the remark of the pen is mightier. He probably was a little chuckle, but his mind is more so like at survival mode. He came across these two things trying to kill all of them. So in his mind, he's trying to think of what he needs to do to prepare to survive. So he's thinking, I need to pick up the arrow, and we need to get Bazi patched up so he can keep being in the lead.
All right. And then Bazi, when you go out there, what's going on in your head?
Obazi's pissed. He's so mad that he got injured. He's like, son of a bitch. He kind of wants to just build a massive fire at the mouth of the cave right now and suffocate everything inside.
And then Cedric, as you are going out there, after everything that's happened, is there anything distinctly going on with what your character's thinking of right now?
Cedric is cataloging everything that happened. As he's walking, he's like, because you've got to understand, Cedric his life was spent in basically a library or studies. This is so outside of his realm that he's talking himself through what he witnessed as more to catalog it in that this is so far beyond his beginning to understand that as he's walking out, he's like, and the eyes were red and the skin was mottled. These, you know, this is not, you know, trying to piece together anything that this almost looks as if it is a corpse that, you know, was seen on this date at this time, so on and so forth. As he's just kind of walking, he's cataloging it more so for himself that it's so far out of anything that he's experienced or witnessed that he's just trying to bring himself back into a reality of what I just witnessed. And he's like, okay, this, that. So as someone who may have just seen something that they can't explain, because he cannot explain this.
Before I have the scene on you all, because there's two outside the cave and two inside the cave, one thing I want to add is Amal, you're against the wall, and as you and Yangi have that moment where you look at each other, you look past him, and you see that, because I would say right now you have the better view, right, of where you guys are in right now, and you see that this is like I said, about 30 feet in diameter. You're taking a moment to look, right? Because you were looking at this creature, right? That Yang Yi slayed. And you're looking at the one that you hit, and you're like, for a second, you're confused because you see the red of their blood, but you see more red. And as a moment, you're looking at the ground, and you kind of look around at the circumference of this cave entrance that you're in. You see that there is a red spiral that seems to have been painted on the ground, where it goes along the perimeter and it spirals down to the center. Now, it's on there, and you see that like the scuffle that you all had kind of has like covered parts of it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see that, you look towards the north, which is to your like, almost to your like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And you see that that is where kind of like the light is coming from a little bit. And you see that there's like it's about like a 5 or 6 foot entrance to another segment. But you see this and you're like, this doesn't look natural, that part. And you start feeling like this looks like it had to be like constructed or maybe modified to allow this to be an entrance into something. And you see next to the entrance there's this contraption, and it has like a string that like looks like someone can pull. It has a little handle on it, and you look up on the string and you see it like goes around like a hitch, and the string goes past the entrance. And so it looks like something like almost like someone would pull, if they wanted something to happen. You don't know what it is, but you just see it's kind of like there.
Sure. So as you kind of examine the spiral, I would definitely tap Cedric, trying to get his attention from his notes and kind of point to where the spiral is, right? That strangeness. Looking up at this contraption, where the string leads, does it look like some sort of trap, either set for us or like some sort of alarm or something?
Well, this is funny you ask. If you were to garner a guess, and I'll say this because you have your set snares ability, it looked like it would be like an alarm or something. Like you assume if someone pulled something, there might be bells or something along there, or something to give quick notification. But I mean, as far as you know, nothing was pulled. You didn't hear any sound. You just see that string is there with the handle on there.
Looking back at the scene, the two things that were trying to attack us, does it look like they were going in that direction at all?
No, they're coming from the opposite. So initially they were walking in that direction, and then you guys entered the cave, and they must have decided to turn around in the cloak of darkness, right? And
Mhm.
come at you all because you guys couldn't see, assuming they could see. And then what happened, right?
Are we still hearing the screams, or have those ceased?
They come and go, but they're
Okay.
distant, but they come and go. They echo. They echo like through whatever that is beyond.
Amal would turn to Bazi first after kind of tapping Cedric. Bazi, are you good? That wound. Do we need to patch that?
Yes, we should bandage this, but we need to do something about what else is in that cave. There's more than just two of them in there, most likely.
I agree. I was hoping he would kind of turn to Yangi as well. You two, being kind of the metaphorical tip to our spear here, right? I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. If you look over there, right, he kind of points to the contraption, right? I followed this up. It looks like it's connected to some sort of maybe makeshift alarm system. I'm thinking if we set some sort of either trap or some sort of funnel here, right, and set this alarm off, that we would pull out whatever's back there away from those screams. Right now they're buying us time, but I don't know how much.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
I can set a trap that I know will work. However, I definitely need a follow-up on how to actually, if there are more of these things, these people, to actually kill them, right? It almost takes him a moment to like fully get that out.
We need to have an escape route in case the plan fails.
That's easy enough.
We could build a large fire at the mouth of the cave and blow the smoke in and suffocate them.
It depends on how deep the cave is, right? It looks like, looking around here, this looks almost like an annexed portion of it. Like it was created to go into a main part.
These creatures are disgusting. Do we even know if they breathe the same air as us?
There
My.
are several parts of this cave. There is the area that these creatures are dumping their dead, and there is an area that they reside in. The I know that the area that they reside in, it it's profane. I felt the fear of whatever these creatures are, what they cause upon my little friend. They're what I do believe is that these creatures are they're they're not of normal well, they're obviously not normal, and they're not afraid of light. Otherwise, they would have shrinked from the light, and we saw their torch light. Oh, let me think on this.
So we seem to have a formulations of a plan, right? Where you guys want to set a snare and then pull the alarm and then see whatever comes if they'll hit the snare, and then you guys will kind of do like an ambush. Any other ideas, or do you guys?
Well, I have a couple thoughts on if we're willing to set a trap or snare. Does anyone have any oil of any sort?
Yeah, I don't know if there's oil, but I can say that. I mean, is that what you think you would need for that trap mall?
I mean, not necessarily. My thought was originally is to put a sort of trip at the opening of the second opening,
Yeah.
right? Put pittons down, and then if we had oil, grease up the oil, so that way when something happens, there is something there to cause havoc, right? Whether it be a trip from the rope, right? Getting stuck with pittons in their foot or belly should they fall,
Yeah.
right? And then oil that we could potentially just light on fire, right? Even if their feet hit it or anything like that, we could set the oil on fire, set their feet on fire, right? Giving them some sort of other thing to distract them while we put them in a kill pocket.
I mean, does that,
Question.
yeah,
Looking for the spell of grease.
Greece. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you chose that, didn't you too?
Yes.
Yep.
So the spell covers a material surface with a slippery layer of fatty greasy nature.
Oh, dude, that must be and the whole I love that. So the
My question to you as the dungeon master,
mhm.
would that component be flammable? Would that grease be of a flammable nature? It doesn't expressly state it in the spell description.
Mhm.
Isn't all grease flammable?
That's
pretty
what I was
much?
gonna say. Yeah, let
I
me
thought the same thing.
answer to your question. Yes. So yes, I will say yes to the lighting the grease on fire for the spell grease. Now you still have that's your you used find
I used
familiar.
my spell slot for the day, so
Oh, for the day. So you're thinking like you guys are thinking maybe pulling back and resting and then coming back?
metagaming that would probably be the best.
Yeah.
Trying not to, but I don't have another spell slot.
Yeah. But then there's the fact that I mean, there's people screaming, you know what and there's,
Yes.
who knows, Laba or whatever where she's at. But were you gonna say something, Yangi? Yeah.
Yangi's okay with letting the screaming people die just so we can get a spell slot back.
Well, then I guess the question comes to Amal. Amal, I mean, it's really a group decision at this stage, right? I mean, and this is really an ethical question, and I know, you know, Yang Yi was the famous line for the first session from Amal to Yang Yi. You seem like a good guy, and they're both lawful evil, right? But
Neutral evil.
neutral evil, excuse
We're
me.
worse.
You're worse. You can't even follow laws. Where you have Bazi, who is neutral good, and you have Cedric, who is neutral. God, you guys are a bunch of neutral people, man. Cedric, who's neutral good, right? Now, also, there's the fact that there's someone you all are set to find, right? Who, I mean, you all got tasked pretty much to find Laba, right? And you were tasked by Kikia to go and find her. So there's the weight of that. I mean, Cedric, would you even tell them when Amal's discussing this plan? Would you tell them that you have this capability, but you need to rest, or like what? How would first of all, I'm going to start with Cedric. You know you have this key. Amal's kind of brainstorming. You know you have this key do you want to bring it up or do you not, or like what's going on? Because you're all these factors are coming in your head right now, right? When you're thinking about, and plus the stress of what just happened.
So Cedric will say to Amal as he's talking about his plan with his caltrops is I have the ability to create this create a grease out of nothing. However, I'm too exhausted to cast it, and I need to rememorize the spell. If we can wait, I can assist you. If not, I don't know how much more help I can be.
I I have two thoughts on the matter. I'm more than happy to rest, right? I know you and probably Bozzy both need it. As I had said before, the screams of those people, unfortunate as they are buying us time. But we also have two of theirs dead here in front of us. I'm curious if they don't return, will they notice? And how long that would take. Do we have that sort of time?
Valid point. Very valid point, you know. Bozzy, what are you thinking? I mean, what all this, the screaming you hear, knowing that this experience, a man of the people, for lack of a better term, right? I would classify Bozzy like a man of the people, right?
Yeah, he's salt of the earth type.
Salt of the earth type, right? And knowing that these people were said, you know, well, that this thing has been wiped, you know, this small village, right? You're hearing these screams. I mean, what kind of emotions is that bringing out in Bozzy?
Oh, he's torn. He wants to do a couple of different things here, but he also doesn't want to rush into something
Yeah,
and die unnecessarily.
for sure. So, I mean, let's talk about the three options then. One, rush in. Two, set a trap without the grease, right? But add the tripwire and the what are those things called again? All the
It's pittons or pitons. Some people
yeah,
pronounce it differently, but
the pittons thrown on the ground there, right? And then kind of doing a choke point ambush there. And then the third is to leave and come back. You'd have to do something potentially with these bodies, right? And then you'd have to find somewhere to rest where you wouldn't be noticed. Those are your three options that you guys have came up with. Now the question is, which option are you guys going to do?
looking at these things, right, that are below us, the blood that they've shed, does that look like our blood?
Yeah,
Okay.
it does. Yeah,
All right.
it comes down, right? Every option has its pros and cons, right?
Works for me.
Yeah, so it depends on what you guys want to go with. Do you want the violence of now, right, to ride the momentum? Because in my opinion, and I don't want to dissuade you all from whatever decision you decide to make, right? But I mean, to me, I feel like the snare is still a powerful thing, you know, that could still potentially work. But there's other things to factor in too, right? Like I could definitely see where grease would help too. So I guess let's take a vote. Yangi, what route would you want to go? Knowing that there's the screams, there's this person you've been tasked to save with, but then you got this option of like these creatures you haven't handled before. You're hearing this discussion going. I mean, factoring the rush that you're having right now, like what factoring all that in, what would be
Yangi
your
is
vote?
probably Team Snare because it's
Team
just
snare
something
without the
he
grease
just
or with the grease?
without just
Okay.
because it's something he understands
Yeah.
and just it seems like all very strange, new to him, and he prefers things he trusts, you know.
That's very valid. Yeah, for sure. And Cedric, what is your call? The rush in, the snare without the grease, or the snare with the grease, I would say.
Cedric is right now. There's a part of him that is saying that we would need to wait, but then also he understands the urgency of the situation and knowing that he has no power at this point in time, he's trying to sit there and he's trying to judge, you know,
The situation, right?
trying to judge the situation and what actually he can do. Because at this point in time,
He's,
there is
yeah, I
he
mean,
is powerless,
and
absolutely powerless.
that's got to be eye-opening, right? At this stage, because it can lead to many different trains of thoughts. It could lead to I need to become more powerful.
It's like the mind of a very young wizard
Oh yeah,
is, I can do these things,
yeah,
but then you put that young wizard in reality and it just smacked him upside the head like, oh my God, I need more power. Where you can even hear Cedric, I need more power.
Amal, so are you team Russian, team Snare with no grease, or team grease?
Amal is team get the fuck out of here. However, he knows that he knows that from his past, he knows that being hunted is also not a great idea.
Yeah.
So right now, in his mind, the best option we have is to set up that snare right now, make them come, set up as much as we can to distract them,
Yeah.
and then annihilate them in one blow. If these creatures seem to have some sort of coordination, right? It looks like they work together. So if we can gather them all at one time and strike them all at once, that sort of what's the term called?
I got you. So a good plan of action.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
is probably the best option in his mind.
All right. And then Bazi, I assume, I mean, that's kind of two for it, but just on yours, what would your call be?
Bozzy is on Team Snare,
Okay.
preferably with Grease, but we don't really have time for that.
Okay.
But
So-
we could snare them
Mhm.
and then light them on fire the old-fashioned way. We just need to set up things properly.
Hey, thanks for listening. Producing this podcast takes time, energy, and real cost, from hosting fees to editing and artwork. If you enjoy what we do and want to help us keep creating, consider supporting us on Patreon. Even a small pledge makes a big difference in covering expenses and letting us focus on bringing you more stories, more episodes, and better quality. You can find the link in the show notes. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Also, feel free to join our Discord, which is also listed in the show notes.